the Beach Volley Vikings have won 104 of their previous 109 matches in beach volleyball, and that's just unheard of. A run of results that have made them the best team in the world, and already not even in their mid-20s, our favourites for Olympic glory in Tokyo in a couple of months' time. First service error comes from Konstantin Semenov. He's 6'11", Semenov. Translate that to 2 meters 10 centimeters. The Russians won't be scared here. Leshukov goes from left side to right and snaps one back. There's a woo from Semenov because that's one of the toughest swings that you can make back across your body. And all week here from Cancun, through the country quota to the qualification rounds, now to the main draw, we've had this wind coming off of the Caribbean Ocean across the right to the left of the main screen here. It's a bubble that's been created by the FIVB, and they have done quite the marvellous job. Over 700 tests, all negative, as Andy Mole fires one really far, by his standards, the wrong side of the baseline. Well, for Leshukov and Semenov, they played 21 events together. Semenov is the blocker, and they've won 2. That's a 3-star in Mersin and a 4-star in Yangshao in 2018. Both of the wins coming in 2018, when they're a very new pairing on the World Tour. They've also had some good performances in Moscow at the European Championships as well. They're in the medal matches against the Vikings. But on the World Tour, they've only played against each other once. That's Anders Mole doing what Anders Mole does, and that's clamping away. On the turn, Leshukov, he tries to squeeze one through, and he's successful. Anders Mole, on average, makes 1 block for every 5 points. That's just astonishing stats in this game. Blocking is one of, if not the toughest skill, especially when Christian Sørum is hitting against you. Christian Sørum prides himself on good decision making and great vision. Change of ends then, every 7 points in this sport, and that's just something that keeps the game fair for both sides, especially in windy conditions like we have here in Cancun. This is one of the first times that the FIVB have brought every game of the competition to you. It's an exciting time as Anders Mole lights a match on this one. Myself, Louis Lett, Clayton Lucas and Charlie Broom bringing you the action, where the competition spans, there's 3 competitions spanning over 17 days. Andy Mole back again with this spin serve into the breeze, and that's the so-called good end at the moment. Sørum from the left side, seen from Semenov, but he delays his timing due to what he sees from Sørum. Tries to go for the swap block, but no way off to a good start. Well, the winner of this game will win Pool A and go straight through to round 2, so it saves them a game in the first elimination round. When the temperatures are plus 30 degrees and high humidity, it's almost a blessing to play less games. There's a timeout already for Russia. We'll have the technical at 21 points, which is a normal now in this sport. Unsure what's going on the show court. Some shrieks and some sounds. Cancun just providing an iconic backdrop. There can't be too many sporting bubbles throughout this pandemic as wonderful as this one here. The windsurfers have been out as well, the kite surfers, which is not normally a pair that you see matched, beach volleyball and windsurfing, but this week that is the case. Andy Mole will get us back underway here. They've won 10 events together, the Vikings, and they've only played 29. Mol, 23 years old. So I'm a little bit older at 25, but when you think of the international men's, the legends of the sport, Amam Rodrigo, absolute legend, 77 international victories to his name, turned back as Andy Mol, and that's really not easy from Mol. It's a straight pass. There's a slide angle, but Mol has great feet and manages to turn that ball back past Leshukov. Three points to the good for Norway. Definitely the favourites in this game as they look to build back, but they also haven't had everything their own way. Andy Mol missing Doha with a injury to his hip, and it's something that's been plaguing him for some time. Andy Mol, as he is looking to come back to fitness. This will be another step up for the Vikings after a comprehensive victory yesterday against Miguel Sarabia and Raymond Steemans from Mexico. They won that 21-11. 21-10. Back set. And that's because the wind is blowing around. And that's Semenov doing Semenov things, which is staying high and going over the top. It's one benefit you have when you're 2 meters 10 centimeters tall. Great victory for this Russian team yesterday against Qatar. Cherif Samba, Ahmed. You never know what you're going to get with that Qatari team, but the Russians, it was a quick victory. But the second set, 23-21 to set up this humdinger of a Pool A matchup. The draw taking place after the next 2 rounds of games. Anders Mol once more. Leshukov, one of the most dynamic left-siders, especially in the Russian program. Vyacheslav Krasilnikov is also unbelievable on that left side, but the vision of Anders Mol is actually Christian Sørum. My mistake, ladies and gentlemen. This is a rarity. He's just come back from Doha, where he was blocking for Shrine Solhag, and he's got used to it up there. Hello, Christian. How about Anders Mol plays a little bit of defense instead? That would be some luxury for any team. Sørum voted the best defender 2 years in a row. Anders Mol, the best blocker on the World Tour. There's another one. 2 blocks in quick succession. One from Mol, one from Sørum. Too tight. The setting from Semenov. Happy days for Mol. There's the Russian team, coaching team in the background. Rivo Vesic, Estonian legend, now coaching as part of the Russian setup with Stoyanovsky, Krasilnikov, but also this team as well. It's another ace from Norway. 3 in a row. Make them feel very, very comfortable. I think it's too early to start looking at the record list for the most amount of wins for the Vikings, but Christian Sørum and Anders Mol on 10. Still 67 victories behind Manuel, but they have time on their side and they have dominated the sport for the 2 seasons prior to the pandemic. Twice European champions in that time. Semenov has not won a European championship with previous partner Vyacheslav Krasilnikov, but he has won a couple of silver medals, losing to Nikolai Lupo in Bielefeld. Another point for the Vikings. Semenov playing with the world champion now, Krasilnikov, now playing his volleyball with Oleg Stoyanovsky. Service from Sørum is into a great spot. It's another back set, moving Anders Mol around, and Mol is watching. You can see him get really angry. That's not really a personality trait that we've seen from Andy Mol too much, but he's drifted on the block, he's leaning in the air, and he's lost his press. It's the first competition for the Vikings since Rome in 2019. And on that evening, they actually lost to the Russian pairing of Krasilnikov-Stoyanovsky, so Semenov's former partner. We've gone to the technical timeout here in the wonderful Cancun. Still comfortable for the Vikings. Some highlights, well, just of the block that made Anders Mol slightly angry. Bit of a chew of the shirt. Tasty, those FIVB jerseys. It's going to be Mol to get us back underway, whose brother Hendrik and Thijs Bernstein also in the main draw this week. They lost out to Brazil yesterday, but they'll have another chance today. Anders Mol goes really low, but Leshukov stays really high. And that's really crucial when playing against Anders Mol. Can't go hitting steep because he will get you. He sees everything, that boy. Semenov will serve, fortunately, into the net this time. And for Russia, it seems as if they're going to qualify 2 teams to the Olympic Games in Tokyo in July. Norway have already qualified through the points system. They're going. Ace from Christian Sørum. The hobby wife serve straight down the middle. You take it. No, you take it. And Semenov gets a face shot. He's taken it on the chin, and now he's setting away to Leshukov once more. The wrist away pat from Leshukov is good. Great vision. The patience from the Vikings key in their block defense. They give away the cut shot quite often. Sørum once more on the back set. Hammer below. They're 5 away from taking this opening set to 21. Hand setting is strong from Mol. The hitting technique that Sørum possesses, the best in the world. Gets that arm back very quickly. Semenov now the target in this breeze. It's the first game of the day. 12 broadcasted games coming your way. 9 AM or just after now local time. Games are running all the way through the evening here in Cancun. 3 competitions in 17 days. And then we're just 2 competitions away from sealing the fate of the Olympic qualification teams. Who's going to qualify? The race is going to be really, really exciting. Semenov is not happy here. It's potentially after a handover from Andy Mol. We're going to have another look at it, so maybe we can figure this one out. Pass was tight, maybe there after a net touch, actually. Anders Mol says no. Ball was really tight to the net, so you can also understand why Semenov would have been asking the question. Leshukov the target once more. Just showing that the wind might have changed today out there. More reverse sets. And the pat high line from Leshukov is golden. Ilya Leshukov. There's only 2 wins coming with Konstantin Semenov. Has played with a couple of other partners in the build-up to this, but this is his strongest partnership, and it looks like it's going to get him to an Olympic Games as well. This Russian team currently 10th in the Olympic ranking. The top 12 scores count over what was almost a 2-year period on the World Tour. Been delayed due to the pandemic, though. And the last competition will be Ostrava in June, where you can qualify for the games. Easy serving. And that's exactly what the Vikings do. They give you a false sense of security at times where they serve the ball in system, but they know with Anders Mol at the net, his eyes and hands and feet are so good, he'll make a read and get you. Bit tougher this time from Mol. Has to come over this time. Block counts as a touch. Fast plays to the wing. Almost a little bit of a roundhouse. Something that the Norwegians are adding to their armoury are different sets across the net. That was rapid tempo though. Semenov needing something special here to get Russia back into this opener. Christian Sørum, the target, just goes to Tall Town off the top of the fingers of Semenov. And it's the first set point for the Vikings. This has been a very good performance. They were happy after the performance with Mexico. They thought Mexico played a good level. They thought they played a good level. But this has been a step up against a more recognised team on the World Tour. They made it look very simple at times as this one's off the block and out of play. Block touch does count as one of the 3 touches. Second set point. Colossal serve from Leshukov brings a chance in transition for Semenov. But sat in the perfect position. Fast plays from the Vikings. It's coming on 2. You can see it's so early, but it's Sørum again from the left side this time, chipping and chirping over the block. It's back on 1 from Leshukov. And it looks as if finally the point goes to Russia. And now we have to see... Well, they're exhausted. Way over 30 degrees. It's a humid, humid part of the world as well.
Thank you.
The change of ends gives a chance for all 4 players to recover. 2 set points saved so far. Third time lucky maybe for the Vikings. No, Semenov is there. Back set followed by back set. Ball starting to blow everywhere in this breeze. Line is the call. Jumbo! From Ilya Leshukov. How do you like that one? Rainbow shot over the top of the world's best defender. Suffer that, Christian Sørum. Timeout Norway. Well, just as we were saying that Norway looked comfortable, a quick 3 or 4 point streak from Russia, and it is well and truly game on here again. Chance to slow things down for the Vikings. That one exhausting rally maybe had an effect on the world's best team. Who knows? But their golden streak started in Stad in 2018. Surprised the world, but not a surprise to everyone after they took a 5th in Klagenfurt some time before. But it's another set point, and finally it's been taken. Norway needed 4 opportunities to take it. Some great play from Semenov Leshukov. They look happy with their first set performance, but the first set does go to the Vikings. 21-16 here in the Cancun bubble. The world's best team. Well, they've just picked up exactly where they left off in Jurmala at the European Championships last September. Good vision, sees the defender goes one way and just works it back the other. Sørum over the top of the block. First set, Norway. Well, who in the world would not want to be on the beaches of Cancun right now? The most glamorous bubble in the world for beach volleyball. And the second set of this Pool A matchup about to get underway. Remember, this is highly crucial stuff because the winner of this game will go straight into round 2. The loser will go into the elimination first round, the modified pool play. It's been around for a while now. It's not everyone plays everyone. It's top seed versus the bottom in the pool. Second and third play each other, and then the winners of those matchups play in the finals of the pool stages, which is what we're witnessing right now here. 2-ball from Semenov, well seen, and Asmol, little fist clench to himself. Blocking so much about the eyes, not watching the ball there. You can see there's a big look at Semenov before getting all over it. Christian Sørum serving. Leshukov off the net. It's a good recovery set really from Semenov because that first pass was super tight to the net. And this is Semenov starting to take control out there. It's been really interesting to follow the career of Konstantin Semenov. He's won 6 times in his career. Great setting from the big man once more. Sørum is equal to it back there. Good decision out of system to just play a deep continuation. Leshukov going for that jumbo again, but Sørum this time is in a much better position. Ball's not quite as deep, and then he just plays the little rainbow trickle over the top of the net band. Some tired legs out there already. Maybe some tired lungs as well in this humidity. And that 5th in Klagenfurt in 2016 really drew the attention of the beach volleyballing world for the Vikings, but it was 2018 when the wins started coming. And no matter what sport you're interested in the most, their record is quite unbelievable. Gold in Stade, a gold in the European Championships, a gold in Vienna, a gold in Hamburg, and a gold in Las Vegas. All in a row at world level is fantastic, but so is that from Semenov. And maybe they're just starting to apply some pressure. Konstantin Semenov. Twice a silver medalist at the European Championships, serving. Doing some blocking as well, some DIY. There's a net touch from Norway. And look at that, Russia have taken the lead here. Semenov doing bits from the baseline and on the net as well. Has won on the World Tour, Semenov. He won in 2014 in Moscow. And that really was the highest high that man there, Semenov, felt with former partner Closeout. Miss serve at the change of ends. We see that quite often. But in Berlin in 2013, he won a silver medal. They actually alerted the world, the Russian pair, Vyacheslav Krasilnikov and Semenov, but they could never hold the consistency at that level, sometimes falling out. The relationship was always an interesting dynamic to watch from the outside in, but both players have moved on, and it looks like they found happiness in the beach volleyballing world. More points for Russia. They've started to tweak some errors from the Norwegians. Norway don't lose many, remember? 104 wins from 109 matches, their record at this moment in time. It's very tight. Lines are called. Sørum is there. This would be a big upset, really, because the Vikings don't lose many, and that's Sørum at his best. It's very early to be talking about an upset, to be fair, but Anders Mol will be doing everything he can to prevent an upset. Spoken at the start of the week about not really playing at the level they know they can. The jump serve is a new weapon in the armory of the Norwegians. Their success coming previously with the float serving. The Russian coaching staff still enjoying every moment of this one. They know they're going to send 2 teams to the Olympics, but that's a huge hang from Semenov. My word, he's high, isn't he? Inside hand, doing great work. Anders Mol this time, right side. Crunching blow into the sands of Cancun. Not really much you can say about that one. Came in straight, stayed super enthusiastic and dynamic all the same. He's actually won 11 events. Anders Mol to Christian Sørum's 10. Won a 1-star back in 2019 as well when the Vikings split up to play with younger players. That's off the net from Semenov. It's a good swing with the ball underneath him, really. Beating Sørum on the inside. Russia lead by 2 here. Tantalizing stuff. Under 100 days to the Olympic Games. Playing in COVID times. In paradise, Anders Mol. Backspin knuckling away. The knuckle is something we'll see when the ball's slightly tight to the net. Players, officials having their masks on. Something that the FIVB are very keen on in the bubble. And something that Anders Mol is very keen on is serving aces. Just some words from Anders Mol to the first referee, complaining that he might just need a little bit more time in between points because it is so warm in Cancun. Chance to just stabilize himself. Leshukov from the left side. Mol's there twice. Maybe one thing you don't want to do is fire Andy Mol up. He is fired up out there. Russia are still in front. There's a lot of beach volleyball left in this one, though. It's out of system. The ball's way off the net, and because of that, Christian Sørum is underneath it. There's a 2-point gap here for Semenov and Leshukov. They have to make it count. Consistency is a big, big thing for this Russian team. But Semenov's jump serve is proving to be formidable. So is his turning in the block. That's outrageous from Semenov. He's got a sense of victory. Konstantin Semenov. He's jump serving. He's landing in the block. He's turning. He's playing defense. His reaction's remarkable, but then he gets into block as well. The Vikings are in trouble here. Well, apologies just for that, a quick technical difficulty. We rejoin the action in a timeout. Anders Mol cooling down a little bit. See, quite flustered for Andy Mol. Cancun on day 2, bringing us all the action we ever wanted. We've gone a long way, or a long time, without beach volleyball in our lives. Well, it's back with abundance, isn't it? Doha, 4 weeks ago. And now we've got 3 weeks in a row in Cancun. What a time. The World Tour.
Thank you, guys.
All coming at once. 11-8 the score. Konstantin Semenov is playing some of his best volleyball at the moment. And if he can stay in this frame of mind, Semenov, he's not just going to be a threat throughout the Cancun bubble, but towards the Olympic Games. A 6'10 blocker, jump serving like this, is going to cause problems for everyone. Andy Mole is back on his A game. Watching the shots underneath it. The ball's just dropping inside of Leshukov by the looks of it. And when the ball doesn't get... Or maybe it's too wide, actually. He has to go to the line, Leshukov. Well, in the other scores, Schalk Brunner had a great result against Alisson and Alvaro Filo yesterday. They're the qualifying team. They're 1-0 down to Nikolai Lupo, Olympic silver medalists. Potentially that's what we can hear in the background. And also the world champions are playing against Brazil. They've won the first set 21-12 against George and Andre. Well, for Russia on the show court, they will take this situation. That's for certain. But the Vikings have almost made a name for themselves in so many different ways in this sport, but one of them is their ability to stay calm under pressure. And even when they're 3 or 4 down, they find a way to figure it out. Double Olympian Semenov setting to Leshukov. It's a wider play. It's a great set from Semenov, especially in the wind, to set that 6 or 7 meters. Good hands. Very impressed with Semenov today, making Leshukov's life all that much easier. Delicate touch off the fingertips. Happy days for Russia. Reverse set this time for Sørum. Off the net, hammer. Leshukov is disappointed about that one. But again, Sørum's ability to play the ball deep in those situations and still cause problems from a situation where he's not comfortable himself is sublime. Serve leaked by Andy Mole. Next up, we have Guto and Arthur on the centre court against the legend, the absolute legend of the sport, Phil Dalhausser. Another legend of the sport, Lucena. 2 balls coming, but it's been really seen. It's a good starting position from Leshukov defensively, but then he's put on his backside by Andy Mole. Big swats earlier on. Now a big joust from Mole. We always say that sometimes the smaller player has the advantage in a joust. Not that time. Wide plays, back to the pin. Mole is there once more, but it looks as if it's gone out off the hands of Anders Mole. And the block is drifting. And the one thing you know about Andy Mole in the way that he's playing at the moment, jump serving, blocking. It's a big physical effort out there. Sørum works the ball over the top of Semenov this time, especially as Andy Mole's been out with injury for some time. The more you move the ball, the more the block is drifting. Opens up the chance to just work the ball off the hands of the blocker. This time Leshukov off the net. The ball goes wide once more. Sørum in a great spot once again. He has to continue to play. Again, the ball goes deep. When the situation is uncertain from Sørum, he knows exactly what he's doing there, Sørum, and that's why, well, it's another key component to why this Norwegian team are so successful. Under pressure, they play the percentages. What I mean by that is players in this game, in that situation, might try and hammer the ball as hard as they can. Not Sørum. Mol. 2-ball. Squeezed past Mol from Semenov. Very difficult for a right-sider to play the line on that side. Ball has to travel across them. So the pass has to be perfect. Semenov's performance in this second set has been close to perfect, actually. Say that and he almost sends one back towards Russia from the baseline. Norwegians level again. Race to 6 then here. For who tops Pool A. And goes straight through to the second round a little later. Leshukov this time playing with the line. Okay, good width on the set to open that play up. It's a little bit inside as well, jumping inside out Leshukov that time. Russia need 5. Andy Mol from the back set position. Defender moves. Leshukov having a bit of a rehearsal. Going through the motions once more. They're happy to hammer the ball at Leshukov, aren't they, Mexico? Maybe that's something they've spoken about. Finding it hard to get super stable. Andy Mol, high, deep serve on Semenov. It gives Anders Mol time to get in and block, and that's key for Anders Mol. It's a smart move to take pace off the serve, and it works for Norway to get the break. It's a huge, huge point in the context of this one because it's changed the score, and it is now advantage Norway. Andy Mol taking pace off the serve. It got them the defense they wanted. Christian Sørum will do the rest. That one's going towards the Caribbean Sea, but Leshukov brings it back. And Semenov finds a solution. Russia just don't want to give up here. Calm from Semenov. Maybe some of the calmest volleyball we've seen from the big Russian. Always has the ability to carry such a threat if he can keep those emotions at bay. Huge moments for a pool game. 2 missed serves in a row for Semenov means the change of ends has come around again, and it's Norway by 1. Race to 21. Remember, they won the opening set here, Norway. If Russia win this one, we will be going to a set to 15 in the third. Teams have to win by 2 clear points. Cut shots coming. Seen from Sørum. Can they make another dig? It's Leshukov charging in, and he's wiped off. Everything that Christian Sørum is touching at the minute is turning to gold here. White sands of Mexico. Timeout from Semenov. They need to break the rhythm of the Norwegians, and this is what Norway do. We've seen it so many times. They spend the whole set figuring it out, and then when they need to, they have a solution. They make digs, they make transitions. Unbelievable work. Russia have played really, really strongly as well. It looks as if Norway at this moment in time are the favourites to go straight through from Pool A to the second round here in Cancun. Well, it's just one of those days where you should pull up a seat or maybe be on the couch and tune in to the World Tour all day. Some huge games coming up in the Olympic race. Brazil versus the USA next. And Norway in the opening game of the day, doing business against Russia. Hands on the hip stuff from Semenov. Might be curtains for Russia. Norway have played really strongly here. Definitely a step up from yesterday. Christian Sørum serving Ilya Leshukov. Another wide set. The line is open. One saved. Well, 104 wins from 109 matches for the Vikings. And it looks like they've added win 105 from 110 games. The Beach Volley Vikings are back this week. That's the big news. Their first competition on the FIVB Beach Volleyball World Tour since Rome in September 2019. And they're back with a bang, aren't they? They were happy yesterday. Anders Moll's happy. Christian Sørum, well, he's renowned for sleeping, and it looks as if he was maybe nodding off under his cap there for a moment in the heat. He owns to Rio. He lives with Guto, and it's Guto's girlfriend, who's a coach, Jessica, that runs this team. Guto has won numerous times, but this will be a test. It's the American veterans up against the Brazilian youngsters here in Cancun, and it's Guto that fires into the net to start with. Well, it's always great to see Phil Dalhausser and Nick Lucena play the game. 3 important wins to get to the final 4 in Doha. Not every game they're at their best, but they were at their best when they absolutely needed to be. And that was key because they're in a tussle for second place at the moment to go to the Olympic Games. USA could only send 2 teams. Nick Lucena will be enjoying playing in this wind with the ball control that he possesses. It's fast from Dalhausser, this time from the right-hand side. USA off to the absolute perfect start. Arthur is caught drifting from Dalhausser. Dalhausser, renowned for his blocking capabilities. But also Lucena has had such a fantastic career. 41 years old now. Back set, this time off the net as well. And Brazil haven't started so quickly here, but Lucena's serving well. It's on the turn from Arthur. That one's not out the coaching manual of beach volleyball to turn and set the ball, but the wind here in Cancun, you can see the line judge's flag. It's doing a lot. Reverse set for Guto. Slightly off the net this time. Lucena reading everything back there in defense. It's good from Lucena. Dalhausser so far, and it's almost teasing from Dalhausser. Decides to break. It's a good break. He's watching through the net all the time. Dalhausser. Just doing Dalhausser things. Timeout Brazil, and you can understand why. This is not the start that the Brazilians would have wanted. They've come, well, through the country quota against another Arthur and Pedro Solberg. They've beaten the O'Days from New Zealand. They've also beaten France and Germany on their way to play for Pool E. The winner of this game will go straight in to round 2 of the elimination rounds. The loser will be going into the first round. That's what we're playing for here this morning. This is the second game of the day. Beach Volley Vikings, #1 team in the world, have already won their first game. There couldn't have been too more humbling for Guto to make a final of a 4-star with Evandro a month ago, and then to find himself in the country quota this time around. That was a great flash in the pan relationship for Guto and Evandro. They were fantastic in Doha. Phil Dalhausser, for a long time, played with Todd Rogers, and through that period of Dalhausser's career, I think everyone still does, want to be like him at the net and affect games like he has the ability to. The big guys wanted to be like him, so did the small guys, to be honest. More points for the USA. It's a fantastic start, but Dalhausser and Rogers, to put this in context, well, they won 9 of 13 Grand Slams that they played, along with 2 seconds and 1 third and 1 fifth between 2008 and 2010. That was how much they were dominating the sport. This team paired up in 2015. Lucena teaming up with Dalhausser after Dalhausser's partnership with Sean Rosenthal. There's a point on the board. Arthur, he's fired up, isn't he? Hello. It's about time that Brazil got on the scoreboard. Takes everything away from Lucena. Very warm here in Cancun. The humidity high as well. The Grand Oasis beach volleyballing bubble. Day 2. We've got some mega games coming up. We really have. Lucena, Nick, the quick, as you can hear in the stadium, but that's quick feet inside the ball that allows him to propel himself up in the air and have a fast swing at that one. Lucena, well, he's won AVP Team of the Year twice with Phil Dalhausser in 2015 and 17. Most improved player all the way back in 2008. There's a little wipe off the outside hand of Dalhausser. Takes a lot to phase Phil Dalhausser. There's not a lot that man hasn't seen on a beach volleyballing court. This time it's gone wide, caught inside, tries to work one back to the line, and Brazil have woken up a little bit here. They've started to put some pressure on the USA. Arthur and Guto won a Brazilian tour event a couple of months ago. It was an event that was without the likes of Evandro Bruno and Alisson Alvaro Filo, but taking nothing away from this team. They've come into this competition, and Superboy, as he's known, force to be reckoned with on the World Tour. He's won big events with Pedro Solberg, but Phil Dalhausser, the thin beast, is raining down a little bit more pain on Brazil. Lucena serving. Back on to Guto. Has to come angle. It's a good approach from Guto. Good vision and frustration this time from Nick Lucena. That fourth in Doha. It's backed up with another fifth from the year before. There's 2 competitions in a row, a year apart in Doha. 17th in the World Tour Finals in Rome, but a bigger result for this team was the World Championships in Hamburg, where they took a 5th. And that's a really good result when it looks at Olympic points and rankings. They're led by Jason Lockhead, the former New Zealand international. This is really more one-sided than we may have thought at the beginning of this game. Phil Dalhausser blocking and serving. That's what we've become accustomed to, and also transition setting and setting as well. He really is. That's another big jump serve from a very steep point, and it's another ace for Dalhausser. Looking to compete at his 4th Olympic Games. The gold medal in 2008. Fantastic memory, winning against Brazil in the final with Todd Rogers, but they couldn't emulate that in 2012. They lost out to Nicolai and Lupo in the round of 16. Side out for Brazil is a good one. The wrist away, good feet. And in Rio, this team had to settle for a fifth because they lost out to the eventual winners Bruno and Alison Cerruti. Arthur serving once more. Good positioning, good footsteps from him in the block, but just get the sense that Nick Lucena is in rhythm and on fire out there at the moment. Both living back in Florida, both coaching and giving back to the sport, Dalhausser and Lucena. Line's the call and line is the action. They're just 40 points behind this team. Vaughan Crabby took a top 4 finish in the World Championships, this time off the hands of Dalhausser. That's one more to Brazil, and they just have to keep working here because this set is certainly far from over, but at the same time, they have to start building for the next set. Back set to the line from Lucena. He's been really impressive throughout, Nick Lucena. Oh, Guto, Superboy for a reason. Flying everywhere here, but Brazil are miles behind. But it's two outrageous digs from Guto with a little bump short line. The bump baby line is dug from Brazil, and it's Guto 3 in a row. Stop it, Guto. Unbelievable from that man in your picture right there. Lucena needing a little break. Dalhausser needing a little break. And also Guto. No wonder Guto needs a break. He's flying everywhere. Combined age of the Americans, 82 years old. Combined age of the Brazilians, 50. So there's a few years of wisdom on the American side of the net. 2 balls good from Brazil. And if Dalhausser and Lucena just keep finishing in a stronger position than Vaughan Crabbe, they will be going to the Olympics. It looks as if they're going to better their result in Espinho this week already. Into the net this time from Brazil. 3 will do it for the USA here. More 2 ball from Guto. Not the first time that we've seen that from Guto. The change of ends every 7 points in this sport just to make fair the conditions. And if you look at the wind coming off the ocean, is something we've seen from Cancun already, is that it's providing to be very windy. But that should suit the Americans, especially with the side wind. Spent a lot of time out in California where the wind does come off the ocean in the afternoon. Quick stab of the arms from Dalhausser. Rare passing error. Maybe just a lapse in concentration from the thin beast. This time, slightly better from Dalhausser. And that's a high, crushing blow from the left-sider. He's actually born in Switzerland. Could have played for Switzerland, Phil Dalhausser. Instead, he's had one of the most illustrious careers in the sport. He really is a legend of the game, and himself and Nick Lucena have been very impressive here. It's consistency that's not been there so far for Brazil, but they do pack an audacious punch. That's no word of a lie. The coaching staff from Russia still in the background there. It doesn't look like they've moved all morning. Got themselves comfortable in the shade. Dalhausser Back to the line. Guto's there again. He's starting to really fire up, Guto. Stop it, Guto. You made 3 or 4 at the last end. Now you're starting to see the line ball scurry hard, stay super low with a good touch. That's not easy to travel at speed. And also touch the ball with rhythm and control. Dalhausser. Oh, the set is a little bit leaky from Lucena, and that brings Arta back into the game. They've just dropped their level here, the USA, and they have to be careful because Brazil battle around in this sport. They don't give up, and especially Guto back there. He will keep running balls down all day, no matter how warm it is. The heat definitely more suited to the Brazilians. And finally, the USA take another point. Phil Dalhausser, well, he might just be happy if they can top the pool and go straight to round 2. They're off to a good start. 6 set points with Lucena. Beautiful passing from Guto. Wider plays. Looking to chip around. There's a net touch somewhere else against Phil Dalhausser. First one saved. Second set point. Lucena, Dalhausser have been strong so far, but you just get the feeling that Brazil have got a little bit of gas left in the tank. No net touch there. It must have just been the ball into the net, not the body of the Brazilians. And there's a joust. Superboy flying like Superboy, pushing up, going off the outside hand. And Brazil really have had a fantastic run here. And it looks as if the USA have taken a timeout. They were way, way behind. 19-12, maybe 19-11. But Guto's made a few digs. Arta's getting himself into the game as well. And all of a sudden, well, there's a bit of life left in this opening set from Cancun. Well, the USA trained down in Florida, and it's pretty warm there. It looks as if the heat is getting to everyone in Cancun. We saw the beach volley Vikings hot and flustered in their opening game as well. There are certainly worse places to be bubbled up. Anyway, another set point for the USA. Brazil have really pushed hard here. Guto stopped by Dalhausser. It's very, very tight. The left-handed jumbo attempt is good, but Guto keeps it alive once more. He can dig absolutely everything, that boy, but finally, it's Phil Dalhausser that works the ball away from the body on a sharper angle. For the legends of the game, they take a 1-0 lead. But Brazil are battling back here after a slow start. Ice on the next stuff. Players have got a couple of minutes to recover before we get underway again here in set number 2. It's the Pool E final to see who tops Pool E and goes straight into round 2. Can hear Nick Lucena down on court side as we look to get ready for this second set here in Cancun. Big game going on the outside courts between Bruno Schmidt, the Olympic gold medalist from 2016, and Evandro, who played with Guto in Doha. They're currently 15-11 up against Born Crab, and that's key in the Americans' Olympic race on the men's side of things. Well, this set starts as the previous set finished, which is a sharp angle wrist away swing from Phil Dalhausser. Karambula Rossi also in the final of their pool against the impressive Austrians, Emakora Pristaus. Skyballs galore yesterday from Karambula, almost serving the ball so high underarm. The ball was going over the net and then coming back under the net here in Cancun. That's Lucena. USA are doing exactly what they did in the opening set, which is just dominate the opening rounds, and that was enough to see them through. And another huge start on the outside courts is that Marco Klattega and Florian Brie are up against Brouwer Musen 21-17 and 6-2 as well. The king of the court winners from last summer are starting to come to the forefront in the traditional side of the game as well. That's a great back set from Guto. It drifts off a little bit, but it hangs enough for Arthur to get through the ball and off the hands. I think whether you're new to beach volleyball, whether you're following every week, the game is just progressing at a rate of knots. The jump setting, the physicality, the blocking, the tactics as well. Lucena taking every opportunity to recover. Ball just drifts across him. He loses his height. Good pass from Lucena. Passes straighter, opens up the line a little bit more for him, but Guto's read him like an absolute book. My word, one of the best plays of the day. It's the baby line from Superboy. However, he charges at this one and just twists it away. Looks as if we've got a medical timeout here. Unsure what's wrong with Brazil here. Arthur's rushed off. Guto's gone straight to sit down. And one would think in this heat, Phil Dalhausser and Nick Lucena are not going to complain too much of having a bit of an added break. I don't think we're going to see them doing sprints during this medical timeout, Lucena and Dalhausser. Nick Lucena, one of the characters of the game, would make a great broadcaster.
That's a minute. Medical.
Still trying to push us along, Lucena. So the medical's over. Get back out here, Brazil. He wants to get going again. Just been blocked out from Arthur. Medical timeout if you're just joining us. Unsure why there's a medical. Arthur's just rushed off. Nick Lucena was asking why and if he was attended to by a member of staff or an official. Day 2 of a 4-day competition here. Players are playing to see who wins Pool E. The draw will be made a little bit later on today, but we're covering every game here in Cancun. Remember, COVID secure bubble, and it is secure. You can see Robbie Musin in the background playing against Switzerland, so courts are back-to-back here across the coastline. 14 miles of coastline here in Cancun. That's a few volleyball courts. Lucena. Class swing. Break looks like it might have done Nick a little bit of good. Stays high and works it back across himself. His team are carrying on the good form from Doha. And when other teams might just falter through inexperience, you don't really have to worry about that from this team here. They've seen and done just about everything. Good swing, deep on Lucena. It's powerful, it's accurate, it's good. Intriguing game, this one. Brazil are really in touch, but you feel that at this moment in time, the USA not just have a 1-set lead, but they have the edge as well. Dalhausser this time with the side out. Side out the phase of play where your team are receiving serve. Wider approach from Guto. Hammers back angle. Waiting for him is Lucena, but it's a robust whip of the arm from Guto. And he is really one to keep watching out for on this World Tour. That win in Porridge in 2017 really did put him on the elite players in the world list. With Pedro Solberg. They beat Nicolai Lupo in the final there. Alison Bruno came third. Some big names on there. Kame Schalk still playing for Canada at that time. Now he's playing for the USA, and he's doing a great job back in his first main draw, having come through the country quota. Chases on for that team. There's going to be no Olympics for Bruno and Schalk, that's for sure, but they're starting to ruffle a few feathers in this World Tour, but so is Arthur with a swing like that. Serving Dalhausser in system. The pressure's off the serve, but trying to force an error through spiking or ball control, and Dalhausser is looking like he's going to want to get this done in 2. Arthur from the left side. Great scoop from Lucena. Second scoop from Lucena. Great reactions back there from Nick Lucena. But unfortunately in transition, the ball is wide of the mark. So Brazil, good performance from them here in the second end. 7-7 as the teams change once more. Three straight competitions in Cancun, followed by a rest, and then we head to Sochi for another important 4-star competition. It really is towards the Olympic qualification. Sochi is followed by Ostrava. It's after Ostrava in the Czech Republic that it's a wonderful setting, Ostrava. It's a really great spot that we find out who goes to the Olympics. The top 15 teams in the world will be going, and it's Dalhausser. Superboy is defeated actually on the floor this time. Cut shot from Nick Lucena. Bit of DIY from the thin beast up there. Do it yourself, Phil. Lucena Dalhausser currently within the Olympic qualification place. And as long as they make a 17th this week, they can only improve their score, which is better than a lot of other teams. Lucena beaten to the inside over the top of Phil. Phil saying, hey, bud, I think you should have got that. These two have been such good friends for such a long time. And it looks as if Guto and Arthur are going to be similar, living together in Rio de Janeiro. Arthur's only just moved there to team up with Superboy. Now they're giving each other a big hug. Good set from off the net. It's really difficult for Guto to get that ball in a good slot, especially in this wind. No block, no respect from Dalhausser. Break at your peril. Brazil. Lucena serving to the inside of Arthur. Big swing from the big Brazilian left side. Heavy. Communication, a big part of this game, figuring stuff out as they do so well. Next up on this court, Mexico versus Qatar. The playoff to see who comes third in Pool A after both teams lost their opener yesterday. Oh, turn back to the line. Naughty from Nick Lucena. Seemed to be super athletic in their quick feet, and there's a bit of a turn of the shoulders to open up that angle to the line for him, but one of the best rips of the day from Lucena. 2-ball. Great work from Guto, taking the initiative. Dalhausser's serving. He has to run into the net. They're backing the fact that if they pass well enough, they're going to beat Dalhausser for speed into the net. That's exactly what happens. We go to the technical timeout here in the second set. There's a lot of life left in this one. Brazil have just taken the initiative for the first time in a long time here. The battle to see who wins Pool E. The American veterans up against the youngsters from Brazil. Lightning start for Dalhausser and Lucena, winning that opening set. But now it's Brazil who finished the opening set so strongly, just nudging and nurdling their way back into this one. Nick Lucena had a great domestic year on the AVP, Lucena Dalhausser. They won 2 of 3 AVP events. Dalhausser led the tour with 2 blocks a set. It looks as if they brought that form onto the World Tour. It's also Jake Gibb and Taylor Crabb started nicely in Doha as well, taking a medal, beating Dalhausser Lucena in the bronze medal match, but they have to find their side out here. Brazil really finding consistency. They're starting to find some belief here as well. Lucena, tight setting from Dalhausser. Arthur all over it. Oh, thought it was about to kick off there because Arthur was sure he won that point, but he isn't. For Dalhausser. Can't bring the scores back level. It's still a 2-point game. It's not a comfortable lead for Brazil, but it's one that they will feel that they can hang on to throughout the latter stages of this second set. Beautiful backdrop here in Cancun. It really is a stunning venue for beach volleyball. And that's a stunning swing from Arthur. He's fired up. Of course he's fired up. Take the story away here is that Arthur's best performance on the World Tour was a 5th at a 1-star. This is a humongous step up for Arthur De Silva against two legends of this game, and he's got Guto running around him. Brazilians are blessed with great ball control on the shores of Rio. Passing and setting the ball all day long out there, working on their core skills. Change of ends come around and still, it's a 2-point game for Brazil. And the pressure will start to build on Arthur in these situations. I mean, it's only his 3rd competition on the FIVB World Tour. But that's Guto that's almost manhandled by Phil Dalhausser. Almost wrestled to the floor, wasn't he? 1 now the difference. Guto again, stuck underneath it this time. Don't know how he got his way out of trouble there. He didn't adjust his approach. He just stood there and had a rash swing at it. Good setting this time from Arthur as well. Some rip. It really was. Dalhausser. Stability. The platform from Guto is unreal. The set is tight, but out jousting Dalhausser is Guto. Out blocking Dalhausser is Guto. What does the 3rd phase tell us? The 3rd phase tells us that Dalhausser is tired. That's what the 3rd phase tells us. Great rally, though, from both teams. The 4th phase tells us that Dalhausser is tired because he calls a timeout here in Cancun. No time for tacos and cocktails, though. Quick minute to recover. In any other sport, can't remember a bubble as beautiful as this one. The American legends are tired on the show court as the Brazilian youngsters look to get their way back into this tie. You'd feel that both teams have that feeling that the more effort they put in now, the more energy they'll save by not having to play another game later on in this knockout round. Phil Dalhausser, are we going to see him jump serve? We're going to see him take another deep breath. Super humid, very warm. 2-ball, dummy 2-ball. Dalhausser doesn't know whether to come or go. He decides to come back, which is good for the USA, but Guto on 2 again, just gets his feet inside the ball and hammers the line. Passes good angles from Arthur. Gets the ball right away across Guto. 2-point game. There's a lot of life left in this poorly matchup, though. Oh, hammer from Dalhausser. The point's gone to the Americans. Dalhausser doesn't want to waste breath out there at the moment. Arthur is frustrated about something. No touch. That ball is in. Just tags the line. Two-ball chisel over the top. It's interesting to see Brazil almost change what's worked for them for so long. They've won the most World Tour medals in men's and women's beach volleyballing history, but usually by playing the traditional way, 3 touches. But as the game continues, they're having to adapt as well. And they're also seeing what works for other teams. Guto from the inside. That's a huge, huge bit of work from Guto. It looks as if we are going to a third hit. It's a long way back now for the Americans. Guto just doesn't seem to stop moving. So warm. And these conditions are definitely suited to the Brazilian pairing. They've just come off a very warm Brazilian tour. Arthur. He sent it. This is a must-win point for the USA, and they managed to smuggle one through. Maybe Guto is struggling a little bit out there too. Well, this would be the end that we might see a Phil Dalhausser jump serve, but nothing to lose and everything to gain for Dalhausser. It's a good serve, but it's also a very good pass from Arthur, but it's Dalhausser who sends an absolute rocket back with another kill block, diving into the angle. The shapes that he's creating, world class. The pressure on Brazil once more, and the youngster, Arthur. In just his 3rd event. Previous one played with Felipe Numasawa. Dalhausser jump serving and making kill blocks. What he's been famous for and what he's become an icon for in this game. Error from Arthur. Guto is looking a little bit dismayed as well. Dalhausser's hit a run at the most perfect time. He does not want this to go to 3, does he? And he will give it everything he's got to get it done in 2. Another big serve. Arthur off the net this time. It'll be a struggle to side out from here, but he goes chiseling off the hands of Phil Dalhausser. Clutch swing. A little bit of self-talk from Arthur, keeping himself going. He goes back to serve. You can tell he's feeling the pressure at these times when he thinks he should be serving, but he's actually blocking. Guto serving for the 2nd set. Good entertainment for a Sunday. Transition sets a little bit off. Rainbow play from Guto. Hand setting from Dalhausser. That goes way astray, and it's Brazil that started this game really slowly, but they brought it back to 1-1. Guto everywhere at the beginning of the set, running down every single ball. And around him, he's got the young Arthur Maranhão making blocks and working off the hands of Dalhausser. Cancun, well, it's providing just about everything. That was very un-Phil Dalhausser-esque. One of the best hand setters the game's ever seen. But that's how the set finished. We go to a race to 15 here to see who wins Pool E. Well, we go to a race to 15 to see who manages to qualify for the elimination round in top spot, they will go straight to round 2. The team that loses this game will stay in round 1 of the elimination round. In the background, you can see the Dutch coaching staff. I think Victor Anfelofs and Ryan Numedor, legend of the game. Numedor, so many battles through the years watching him. Now he's coaching, but back to this one. Off the hands. Guto has got an engine on him, isn't he? Lucena, the target, sees everything, goes over the top of the angle block. Well, Dalhausser, as we mentioned earlier, 38 wins. International volleyball. Well, that's gone very short. Big deflection off the net band makes it difficult. Southpaw, little chop into the center of court. It's a great look from Dalhausser at the bottom of his swing, seeing the court. And the arm is really good as well. Hedges his bets to go over the top of the block, and he does it well. So, since the World Tour began, there's been 474 World Tour events. 2 different countries have battled out for a gold medal in 373. 2 balls open. Lucena is there, but again, they're using that tactic to try and work Phil Dalhausser. He's having to run in. They're trying to make him change directions. They're trying to make him move as much as possible. Guto is still working at 100% of his jump. But back to that stat that in gold medal matches, Brazil leads the USA in men's beach volleyball 35-32. Some ding-dong battles through the years, that's for sure. Obviously, this isn't a gold medal match, so to speak, but the rivalry has been very much present between the 2 teams throughout. Lucena, great side-out play from him. Big from Dalhausser, but it's the wrong side of the tape for the Thin Beast. Brazil look very united. They had to make the decision because Arthur moved from his hometown to move to Rio de Janeiro with Guto. So Guto said it was an investment for the team that himself and the team's coach Jessica allowed him to move in with them. Fantastic article on the FIVB website about that story, actually. Have to catch it, providing some great content throughout on Beach Volleyball World and Volleyball World. Sitting in the pocket is Guto. Second opportunity from the left side. Dalhausser hammers one into the sand. On the men's side of the game, it's actually a huge difference between the amount of gold medals won. Brazil have won 200 gold medals in World Tour history. United States have won 77, so they're still quite far behind overall. Let's hope it's a battle that lasts into the future. At the moment, the main battle is to get through this, because 3 setters in these conditions are brutal. Miss serve from Dalhausser. On the outside court, Born Crab are in a 3-setter, a tussle with Evandro Bruno. So they're big results in the context of this Olympic race that we spoke about earlier on. Both of the American teams in 3-setters. Error from Dalhausser makes it very interesting. Karambula Rossi lost the opening set to Austria as well on that outside court. Back to this one, trying to scoop the ball around, but the Americans are looking quite jaded here. And Brazil just keep going. They know that they've got their foot firmly on the gas, and they have the stamina here to maybe see this through. Brown and Musin have pulled it all the way back on the court to the left of the main screen here. Against Marco Klatigo and Florian Brie as well. It's just the Swiss were in the driving court for the time being. Lucena hammers angle. Ball's really tight. Dalhausser is beating angle. It's Guto again. Hitting some sweet angles, Guto. And they're just joined at the hip, the Brazilians. Good transition setting. The ball's always falling away from the setter, and he manages to keep the ball high and across Guto. Timeout by the legends. This race to 15, remember they had it in their control. And every game matters here because the Olympic race is paramount. They're 40 points in front of Born Crab. Triborn saying earlier on in the week that he should have brought his surfboard for a bit of night surfing. But why not? Bit of Caribbean surfing in Cancun. You need to keep pushing Brazil. They can't give the Americans an inch. 3-point game in this race to 15. Dalhausser the service target. They're making him do a lot here, Phil Dalhausser. Guto is everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. He sits in the angle and says, all right, Phil, I'll take you on. And the defensive work is perfect. He's right the way in the sand. His arms are really solid. He's really relaxed. And then his arm just goes away from the ball and away from Lucena. This one's getting away from the Americans at the moment. The young Brazilians just keep fighting away. A bucket load of belief here. Kept battling. That one's over from Phil. And Nick Lucena has started to lose his temper. He's suggesting that there was a net touch. Apologies for the language coming through, but he's not happy here, Nick Lucena. He's sure that one should have gone their own way. No signs of anything from Arta. And there's a red card for Nick Lucena. First one we've seen on the World Tour for a while. It's another point for Brazilians. Might just get another red card if he keeps going as well. Was there a net? Looks close. It might have not been with the hands. Might need another look at that one. This is going to give us a much better look. The hands. The left hand of Arta. It says no. Point goes their way. It's difficult to tell. It's a close call. (9-4) the score. 9 turns to 10-4 due to the red card. Point penalty. Don't know if Nick Lucena realised he got a red. I think he's just had that epiphany, Nick Lucena. We might just be going down a rabbit hole. Because as you can see, there's something that hit the net there. 100% C. Pressure's on Jose Maria Padron. 10-4. As we said earlier, one thing you don't want to do is pick a fight with Nick Lucena. He might just come and take this game into his own hands here. Staying calm next to him is Phil Dalhausser, who hasn't said a word for a while. Fire in ice, Lucena Dalhausser. Still smiling though, as always. Great value on the World Tour. 2 ball. Net touch this time against Phil Dalhausser. And that just might just stir the pot a little bit more for the USA. Guto and Arta, they've had a great run. Let's take nothing away from the run. It's a stunning one. Not too many better places to play beach volleyball. It's a bubble for 17 days, 3 competitions in succession. 5 events left to secure Olympic qualification for some teams. This is the 3rd game that we've had on the show court, and it's between 2 teams battling for their lives in this first event. Well, Louis Lepp with you here in the commentary booth. Between myself and Clayton Lucas, will bring you all of the games from the first hub, and then Charlie Broom will join us for hub number 2. But we're in the pool stages here, and it's Pool A. The winner goes through. The loser, unfortunately, will be going back to the hotel room because we're all back here next week for the same competition. Well, the referees always announced first. The American referee, Brigham BT, will be in charge of this game. And Jose Maria Padron will be on the sand from Spain. It's time to meet our players for this 3rd game on the show court. Remember, Qatar, they are an athletic, fast-playing, wide ball spiking, aggressive team. And Cherif, the Cherif, Younisi, originally from Senegal, now living in Doha, 1 meter 75 centimeters, 6'5". He plays blocker, the left-hander in this team, and he's partnered by Ahmed Tijan, originally from Gambia, 6'1", but he jumps out the sand, does Ahmed Tijan. They've played a long time together, and they have a tough game on their hands here against the 32 seeds, the wildcard team, the youngsters from Mexico, Miguel Angel Sarabia. And wearing number 2, Raymond Gerald Steven Zamora from Monterrey, 6'2", 188 centimeters. We're playing defense behind Zarabia's block. They played 5 competitions together, 2 age group events as well, where they took a 5th in the FIVB World Junior Championships, so they can play this game very, very well. But they will be the underdogs here, as they're up against a team that have won on the FIVB World Tour before. They took a 5th last time out in Doha. That was on home sand. The last 3 tournaments they played actually in Doha, because they played, and they won the 1-star event back in February. First event for a long time on the World Tour, but we're underway. Ahmed playing defense. It's Qatar in yellow, Mexico in green. And the team from Qatar dropped their opening game to Ilya Leshukov and Konstantin Semenov, who we saw in the first game of the day here in Cancun. They went down to the beach volley Vikings. Beach volley Vikings, #1 team in the world, so no mean feat, but they'll be disappointed, Ahmed Tijan and Cherif Younisi, for not winning that opening game. They come into this game as the number 17 seeds. They're currently in 14th place of the Olympic ranking. So as it stands, it looks as if Cherif Samba at the net. He went to 2016, the Olympics. He's looking for Olympics number 2, and that's a good start. They're still looking to better results, of course, because there's a lot of teams around that qualification area. Mexico playing a little bit of standing shot. Balls on the inside. Look at the aggression in the approach. Super good, super gnarly from Ahmed. Both players have moved to Qatar to pursue this career as a beach volleyball team. based in Doha. Underneath the guidance of Barasetti, the coach from Argentina. Legend of the game all the way through the years, Barasetti. Good turn 2 ball, catching Ahmed Tijan a little bit cold back there. Actually, if there's one thing that you can't be in Cancun at this moment in time, it's cold. We're seeing players really have to battle through sets. It's going to be survival of the fittest here in the heat and the humidity. Some big games going on the outside courts as well. As we look to see who goes through to the elimination round 1. The winners of this pool go straight to round 2. That's already been decided for the Vikings. The first round here, the first end change comes up after 7 points, and that goes 5-2 the way of the team from Qatar. Ahmed. Big swing, but equally as impressive defense from Mexico with a high angle swing, almost like a jumbo from Stevens. Chases once more, this time from the right side. It's tight and off the hands. Good decision making. When it's tight, that's the time to start maneuvering the ball off the block. That's a smart move from Mexico. They're going to put up a stern test here if Qatar don't watch out. It was the World Under-21 Junior Championships in 2019 that Stevens and Sarabia took a 5th place. Sorry, my mistake. It was a 3rd place. Haven't done them justice there. From seed 5. So they're completely in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing, this young Mexican team. Just pushing themselves once more. They played in the Chetumal 4-star event as well, and that seems like such a long time ago in one sense, but yesterday in another. It was back in November 2019. They took a 25th place finish there, and they won't want to do that again, but it's also a very tough pool that they've been put in with Russia, Norway, and Qatar. You've got some fans out there, though. Reactions absolutely world class from Mexico, and they've managed to push and prod and push a little bit more, and the errors come from Cherif leaning back on that one, trying to force the cut shot. Picture tells you 1,000 words. Straight line approach off the hands and out of play. Was there a touch is the question. Absolutely there was a touch. Cherif, who played with Jefferson Santos Pereira, Brazilian-born Qatari Olympian. Ace. Oh, line judge says out. Definitely trust the line judge over my eyes. You can... They have a much better view of the court than I do, that's for sure. But that relationship with Cherif Samba and Jefferson Santos was an interesting dynamic to view from the outside. Cherif very much growing in the early stages of his career with Jefferson Santos. Moving the ball around nicely. Not much between the two here, even though there's a few seedings apart. Ahmed looking to go to his first Olympic Games, but Mexico with another error. Big moments on centre court just a moment ago as Guto and Arthur just Managed to get past Dalhausser, Lucena in 3. That's so steep, isn't it, from Cherif? It really is. The men's draw coming up after this in Cancun. The women are up a little bit later on. There was some good days out there. Some of the women's teams yesterday. But it's all about the men at the moment. But for Cuba, Layla and Maylin in the women's competition, Cuba are on fire at the moment. That's the message that I'm getting out of Cancun, is that Cancun has been a great spot for Cuba as they prepare for the Olympics, or trying to qualify for the Olympics through the Continental Cup. Fans are still allowed in the background as long as they're on that side of the advertising board. That's a good bad one from Ahmed Tijan. They won on Kish Island all the way back in February 2016 was the biggest win of Cherif's career. Beat Stoyanovski Yarzukin in the final there. That's a big win. Stoyanovski now obviously the world champion of the sport. Qatar leading by 2 here. We're 1 away from the technical timeout, which all players will be thankful for in these heats. Big from Cherif. Now he's flying. 12-9 the score here. Qatar on Mexico. Fantastic work from Qatar. It's not been all to their liking so far, but they've done a very good job of containing the young Mexicans who've done so well at junior level. Another men's game up next, Mexico versus Estonia, and then the women are back on court through the elimination round 1. Teams will be going today. Borga Suda will be on centre court against Brooke Sweat and Kerry Walsh-Jennings, the GOAT of this sport. And then after that, Poland will be on Katorshek. Katorshek are up against Anna Patricia and Rebecca from Brazil. Katorshek and Katorshek are a tough team to play against. Some good results on the European circuit. Anna Patricia dropped a game yesterday, so they find themselves in the first round of the elimination run, and that won't be to their liking. Out of system, out of rhythm for Mexico. Qatar pushing their way through on the outside courts. Big games for Hydrick Gerson at the moment against Gib Crab from the USA. Both teams losing yesterday. Both teams needing a win to stay in the competition. For Hydrick Gerson, they are one of the teams looking to improve results to get to the Olympic Games. They're certainly not certain. Also out there, Alison Alvaro Filo against Tolle and Harms. No Clemens Vikler this week in the men's competition because of appendicitis. Saxton and Gorman up against Windish and his newest partner, Kotafava. We saw them yesterday on the show court, but Cherif is over the top of the block and it's a 5-point lead. They pulled away here. Line's the call. It's a good line shot as well. Mexican volleyball is improving at a fast rate of knots. Used to be about Ontrevos and Bejen, but now it's 3 or 4 teams on Mexican shores that do damage on the world tour. 5 points here for Qatar though. Good results this week for Kame Shark and Theo Brunner. They were the surprise team yesterday as well, as they beat... Well, they qualified for the round of... Second round later on. They have to try and win their pool today with a game against Nikolai Lupo after beating Brazil yesterday. Allison and Alvaro. That's a great turn back. It really is. Sarabia into the net this time, though. (6-11). Ahmed watching everything. Steps round really well, and the cut shot's a good one. It's tough when the ball's pass quick off the platform. Puts the setter under all types of pressure, and that was the position for Mexico there. They were really rushed in that first touch, and it meant that the setter was under pressure. They were hitting the ball from 2 meters off the net also, and it just gave Qatar a chance to sweep around and play some defense. 6-point game. It's been fairly comfortable, but not unbelievable from Qatar, but we know that on their day, they're a Final Four side if they produce a good Ahmed Tajan. And under Barasetti, it looks as if they're another team that started pushing the offensive boundaries a little bit more. Barasetti himself, with Conde, well, that Argentinian side were quite creative as well. Ahmed, hammer, just turns the body quite quick, but really subtly into a zone, sees the block and turns it back the other way. Six-point game. This race to 21 points in paradise. It's a great spot, isn't it? Raymond Stevens. 6-2 from Monterrey. He's now coming into play defense, but he's beaten. The vision from Ahmed is very good, isn't it? Ahmed Tajan. Defender fakes one way. Ahmed Tajan sees the fake and goes back the other way. Cat and mouse stuff here between the two teams. Ace. And that's been one of the biggest differences in this game. The service pressure from Ahmed has been really good, isn't it? Seven set points for Qatar against the home nation. The second time that the Mexicans have been on the show court this week, but to no avail so far. It's a great performance from Qatar. They've taken the opening set here in this must-win matchup. They have to win it to go through to the elimination stages, and they've got off to a great start. They've taken the opener 21-13 here from Cancun, but there's still a lot of life left in this one. It's the knockout stages coming our way a little bit later on, but who will be there? It looks like at the moment Qatar will be going through. Big, heavy cross line from the big man. Comes in showing a lot of angle, Cherif. Second set underway. Can Mexico push back against Qatar? Great first spot from Stevens. Sits round on the angle. Chance to go over line. On the turn. Scoring everywhere, aren't they? Mexico are digging their heels in, but from the outside, it's Ahmed again. Games coming up that are worth really paying attention to. Home team of Gaxiola and Rubio are up next against Nõlvak and Tiisaar from Estonia. Brooks, Kerry Walsh, Jennings. They're in the big Olympic race themselves, aren't they? Currently in the second spot, but Stockman, Larson, Sponsor plays are right behind them as well. That's the centre court action, but also on the outside courts, the FIVB streaming absolutely everything for the first time in a long time as we have a look at a free net for Stevens, and he just palms it to the sideline. This time into the net, but Semenov and Smedins from Latvia are up against the beach volley Vikings of Henrik Mol and Mateus Bernstein as well a little bit later on to see who will go through from Pool F. Both teams losing their opening game, Born-Krabbe and Vandro Bruno respectively yesterday. Semenov Smedins still have a bit of work to do to get to the Olympics themselves. Talking to coach Marco Salustri earlier in the week, he was saying that they're looking for a Final Four in this hub to basically seal another Olympics for the Latvians who have changed the sport in their country. There's no doubting that. From the right side, little look. The ball's blowing everywhere there, so it doesn't matter how Sarabia makes an approach. It's always blowing behind him. It's difficult to find that rhythm. Karambula, Rossi have already played today. Cantor Wozniak playing to see who gets out of Pool E as well. Dalhausser Lucena beat them yesterday, but for Cantor Wozniak, they've been struggling with injuries before the pandemic, but now they're back fully fit. As Qatar are off to a good start once more here. Hydrick Gerson on that outside court, who need a win today, find themselves 19-13 down, I think, to Gibb and Crab from the USA. That's going to be a big game as well. Alison Alvaro Filo, Tolle and Harms from Germany, well represented. 29 different nations in the men's competition this week, but that's a great high line from Mexico. And they're back to 1 at the change of ends. Well, it was a tough week really for the jump setting Swedes from Sweden, funny enough. Armin Helvik, who took a 9th in Doha, went out in the first round of qualifying to Kane Scholk and Theo Brunner, very close to the net, and when that happens, Ahmed Tajan can get after the hands of the blocker quite comfortably. 5-3. Foot fault from the jump serve. Line judges right on point with that spot. Very good. Feet have to stay behind the line. Well, it's a miss-serve for a miss-serve all the same. I'll take their opportunities, the Mexicans here. Originally from Gambia, Ahmed Tajan. And he's heating up again, isn't he? He really is. The deep jump serve into the breeze is doing wonders for Qatar, making their task slightly easier. 2 aces in a row from the big man from the baseline. Overpass, absolutely dealt with from Ahmed and Cherif. The Cherif he's called on the World Tour. The Qataris actually said that previously in an interview with the FIVB that sooner or later we're going to be Olympic champions or world champions for sure. They genuinely believe that they can compete. We know they can compete. We've seen it loads of times. Final fours, fifths, the lot. But they believe they can go the whole way. Well, Qatar are on top here. It looks as if they will be going through. Ahmed Tajan, as we said earlier, grew up in Gambia, played different sports, football, table tennis and street volleyball. I'd like to have a look at that. Cherif going low in the block. Was there a touch? No, says the first referee. But then the man in your picture went to Senegal to improve his indoor volleyball skills because the league in Senegal was better. And then he met a manager who offered him the chance to go to Doha. And he played indoor there before moving to beach volleyball. Cherif at the net, currently blocking on the other hand. Grew up playing beach volleyball from the age of 8 in Senegal. Lived by the beach and followed the example of his older brother, actually. Oh, the knuckle back is a little bit tight this time. Fantastic story as the first time they played together was in 2014 when they played in the Under-21 World Championships in Larnaca. It's a dream to play at the Olympics together and win it for Qatar. What a story that would be. At the moment, they're on course to qualify, that's for sure. Inspired by the Olympics in 2012 as well. Another missed serve from Mexico. Will not do them the world of good here as they look to establish themselves once more. But it's all about Qatar. That was almost expected in this one, a world-class team. You would say on their day, but they used to be a lot more up and down than what they are now. They're a lot more consistent in the way they're playing. They're a joy on the FIVB Beach Volleyball World Tour. Another missed serve. 3 in a row for Mexico. And they really have to be careful. Because this one is slipping away from them. Hand setting from the middle. Great swing. There's one back. But it's from the baseline that they need to start pushing. Qatar, they've had it all their own way. Oh, bounce. Ahmed has rifled through that one. And there's a change of ends at 14-7. The breeze still continuing to blow. It's supposed to be like that all week here in Cancun. The technical timeout has arrived here. Well, on the outside courts, Alison Alvaro Filo look like they're just about to knock Julius Tolle out. And Yannick Harms, his partner, instead of Clemens Wickler this week, due to the fact of the appendicitis of Wickler. Tolle, silver medalist in the World Championships in Hamburg, 2019. Great serving once more in this one, though. And if it's not Ahmed, it's usually the Cherif that does the talking from behind the service line. Both going for the spin serve into the wind. No receiving that one. 6 will do it. Another foot fault from the Cherif there. That's not the first time we've seen it. Also now have the Continental Cup on the horizon. And that's their best chance of qualification to the Olympics in Tokyo very, very soon. They're up against a team who have turned a few heads in the last couple of years in World Tour Volleyball. A couple of years is not that long because there hasn't been many events whatsoever on the World Tour due to the pandemic. This is a bubble that's been created by the FIVB and they've done a fantastic job of it. Over 700 tests over the week leading up to this first hub. 2 more events coming our way. Louis Lett with you here in the commentary box. This is game 4 of 12 of the main draw. And later on, for the afternoon and evening session, you'll be joined by Clayton Lucas. And later on in the hub, Charlie Broom will be joining us as well. But this game is a big one. Both teams looking to go through to the qualification rounds, elimination rounds, as we meet the first referee. Davide Crescentini will be on the stand for this one. And Brigham Beatty from the USA will be on the stand. Big moments for both teams. Mexico seeded 8 in this competition. And for Estonia, they had to come through the qualification periods where they had a couple of battles already this week. One against England, one against Balta Penninga. And first out is Kirsti Nõlvak, 29 years old from Tallinn, 6'2". And his partner, Mart Tiisaar, joins him on the show court. Both based in Tallinn. And for Mexico, well, have a listen. If there was a big crowd, you'd be hearing them cheering very, very loudly. Josue Gaxiola makes his way into the arena, 23 years old from Mazatlan. The program based in Mazatlan. Jose Luis Rubio, wearing number 2, comes to join his partner. This is a team that came from nowhere really to take a silver medal in a 4-star event in Doha in 2020, the last one before the pandemic hit. And on their way they beat teams from America. They beat the world champions on that route to the final. They lost out at the final hurdle, but it shows what a strong team they really are. They only took a 17th this year in Doha, but we expect big things from the Mexicans here. Seeded 8 due to the wild card. It's a very good draw in here. And for the Estonians, well, they lost out to Alex Brouwer and Robbie Mewson yesterday. But they beat the Bello brothers from England. Bello's putting up a great battle in the qualification. They lost 16-14 to this Estonian pair. But then a great win against Balta Penninga in the win, 21-15, 21-17. First point goes to the Estonians. Good serving. Gaxiola with the high line. And Estonia are off to a strong start here. Nõlvak to serve, goes straight down the line. Gaxiola looks for the hands. Still no joy for Mexico here. That won't be how they wanted to start this one. They would have wanted to start with a little bit of pizzazz and a little bit of pressure on Estonia, but the Estonians just seem to be getting better and better. They're going to be heading after this to Turkey for the Continental Cup. 2 balls in play, but it's another error, this time on the right side from Rubio. Good blocking from Tiisaar this time. Anything that's really close, tight to the net, will be wiped up by the blocker. The Mexicans haven't had the start that they would have wanted. Good serving from Estonia. But the ball's into the net as well. It's tough out there. You can see the wind. We've had kite surfers out here over the last few days. Mexico have the first point on the board. The men's draw coming after this round of matches. We've seen wins for the beach volley Vikings. They went 2-0. We've had some great battles down here. Lucena Dalhausser against Guto and Arthur. One of the better games of the day as well. Off the hands this time, making the most of working the drifting block from Gaxiola. (6-1) is a dream start for Estonia, who just seem to be growing throughout this competition. They won the Lithuanian 1 start. They were seeded 2 for that back in the summer. A depleted calendar due to the pandemic, obviously. Second place in the Ermolev 3-star as well in 2019. To my memory, they played very strong Samoilovs and Smedins in that final and lost out. So they're an experienced team with great results behind them, Estonia. You think about Estonia and volleyball, they're not the first to fly the flag. Kolo Vesic, for those beach volleyball fans out there, on the world tour for such a long time. Rivo Vesic now on the coaching staff of Russia. Off the body swing has really given the initiative here to Estonia. This is not the sort of form that we saw from the Mexicans when they shocked the world to make a final in the Doha 4-star. Too many errors. Estonia have started really well. There's a timeout from Mexico. You can understand why. It's just to break the rhythm. We are in Cancun here on the FIVB Beach Volleyball World Tour. Nice backdrop, isn't it? Well, errors are the name of this one for Mexico, and they just won't want to let this one slip because there's a chance to make the knockout stages. There's a break after this game before the women's competition comes back in, and no bigger name in women's beach volleyball than Kerry Walsh-Jennings. She's going to be the next game on the centre court. There's some big matches going on. Remember, the Olympic race is still alive here on the World Tour. It's all about the build-up to the Olympics. The top 15 teams will be going to Tokyo. You don't want to miss out. For Estonia, they're heading to Turkey. Turkey have had some good results in the 1-stars. And also some good performances in the 4-stars as well. So Turkey themselves are getting better. Adam Mert, the head coach there. But for Mexico, that's a big hammer. Great work in the net setting to try and get underneath the net to scoop the ball out. Tight passing once more, so Knuckle has to fill up. Oh, it's a volley over on 1. Is that going to be called? Absolutely not. That is legal nowadays, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Because the shoulders were parallel to where the ball was going. There's going to be some old schoolers out there not happy about it, but it's a great choice of shot, and it's great execution The head coach of Turkey, Ademir, is saying that Estonia can stay in Cancun, so he doesn't have to see them in Turkey. One less thing for him to worry about, because Estonia will be a threat in Turkey, that's for sure. There's an ace down the middle. It's a wonderful start for them. Seven-point game turns to 8. The change of ends. This has not been what Mexico wanted. There's a carry and more frustration wearing, well, neither player wearing any sleeves, but if they were, they would be wearing their hearts somewhere near their sleeve. Mostly just frustration at this moment in time, though. Rubio getting flustered quite a lot, but that's better from Mexico. It's almost too little too late already, but we've already seen it today that Dalhausser Lucena won the opening set of their winners game in Pool E, but they ended up losing in 3. It is survival of the fittest out there if you can hang in there. Estonia will be wanting to get this done very quickly. For Mexico, well, it's home conditions for them, although it is slightly warmer where the program is based in Mazatlan. It would take you over a day to drive there from the Yucatan, so it shows A, how maybe the temperature can change, but B, just how far or how big Mexico really is. Serve is long. Feel that this one hasn't really got going yet. Tight passing once more. Too tight, but it allows good vision. It allows a good swing on the net from the left side. Gaxiola with the hammer. Still some big 3-setters going on the outside courts. Tolle and Harms have brought it back from the brink against Alison Alvaro. They're 6-6 in the third. Disappointment for Hydra Gerson from Switzerland. They just lost out against Gib Crab. Oh, back set from Estonia there, delivering on little bits of magic everywhere across the net. Not something we saw in the qualifier. It's so windy, but now the wind has potentially gone down. We're seeing balls over on 1. We're seeing balls over on 2. That's phenomenal. The angle of that and the precision is ideal for Estonia, especially in these conditions. Chasing in once more. Tiisaar, the blocker, beaten. Mexico get the touch off of the hands, the signal of the referee in the background. Crescentini on the stand today. Technical timeout has come round very quick here, and it's one-way traffic in Cancun. And it's not the way that Mexico would have wanted it, that's for sure. They were so close to going out in qualification in that 3-set battle against England, but now they found their momentum, upsetting a few teams on the way through, especially the win against Bouter Penninger. The Bee Gees, as we call them, at King of the Court, due to the fact that that Dutch team stay alive no matter what. But not this week. They lost out to Estonia convincingly. Bouter on Instagram saying that they're going to keep fighting. In rhythm. Left side spiking from Tiisaar. Out of rhythm underneath. From when you're underneath the ball and your approach, your arm doesn't come through. Loses complete control and also jurisdiction over where the ball's going to end up. Still 6 behind, but you just feel that Mexico are starting to get a bit of feel in in this game. Better defense. Chance to find something here, and it's a dive in from Tiisaar. Absolutely crushed the angle swing from Gaxiola this time. Well, it would not be the best news for Mexico to lose two teams in quick succession in this competition. Especially a team with the potential of this one beating the World Championships. It was a dream, they were saying the whole way through the Doha competition in 2020. They kept upsetting the odds, the likes of Billy Allen and Stafford Slick on the way through as well. Having only come third in the pool that week, so it just shows how open everything is. There's the same position that they're playing for here, Mexico, coming third in the pool. You can still wriggle your way all the way to the finals of these big events. Good high line, shows a bit of cross court this time. Rubio just charms it back. Back set, Estonia moving the ball around nicely, creating room to just work with the line. Tiisaar this time. The Estonians lead by 6 here. Only that one victory in Vilnius between them, but some other good results, some seconds and some thirds on the World Tour. Big serving once more. And this performance, or this match, drifting away from Mexico point by point. Tiisaar again, serving, running into block, long angle serve. Good speed into the net from the blocker. And it's a good backhand as well. Alive, alert, and enthusiastic back there. The Mexican defender. But it's Estonia once more finding a way to keep scoring. Varied offense. Well, that was very varied. Very unorthodox from Estonia. Cut shot from Gaxiola. Dug, and then Rubio is tooled. Eight-point game. This is a completely different game to what I would have called it. Much closer in the opener, but there's so much beach volleyball left in this one. Well, there's 3 events in 17 days. This one's 16th to the 20th. Then we start again the 22nd to the 26th. And the 28th of April to the 2nd of May. Live streaming all 4 courts all of the time here from Cancun. Another high line. They've been so good, Estonia. Let's take absolutely nothing away from them. Mexico have been slightly below the par score that we've seen in Doha the last 2 years. But Estonia are having a run here. Smuggled through, but it's another error. Runaway performance from the Estonians. Hand setting slightly tight. Gaxiola tries to turn the ball away from the blocker. And set point for Estonia. Oh, and it's sealed with an ace. It's a wonderful ace as well from Nõlvak. And that's a dream start, isn't it? In a must-win game. Estonia put their foot well and truly on the accelerator, and they've sped away from the Mexicans on their home sand. What's going to happen in the second set? We have no idea, but this is far from over here in Cancun. Few words between the young Mexicans, 23 and 24 years old. It's a long journey, this beach volleyballing one, full of ups and downs, and they've had their fair share of ups, don't get me wrong, but you have to ride the downs as well. Estonia serving, having won the opener here in Cancun. Great chip to the line, but as we've seen every single time, Tiisaar is equal to it. Another look, and it's exactly the same scenario as before. It's a fantastic read from the defender. Nõlvak's all over that too, but it's just too persistent and too accurate with just enough speed on it as well. Back set, high line. Good work. So Estonia are doing really well. There is a slight side wind, so using the back set is going to keep the ball in a more controllable area to hit the ball from in the hitting window. That one drops inside, but he's so big, Tiisaar, that he can almost lean and work the ball back over the top of the block if he has to. In system. This should be a point for Mexico. No, it's another high line. They know exactly what they're doing here. Estonia, and they're making lots of blocks and lots of defensive plays. Good lines from them defensively. Tiisaar will serve from Sarabia, but living in Tallinn, indoor beach there as well, a great indoor beach where the team can train, but they're also looking to get away. They've also been in Dubai as of late, training with some of the best teams in the world. It looks like a handling error, it's a lift, so first referee Crescentini saying the ball was too low in the hands, held on for slightly too long. It's the same story as the opener here. Ball's caught on the inside. Huge block. The block defense from Estonia really good throughout this second set. Reading the situation, being aggressive with the hands and taking the cross-court angle away from the spiker. They're struggling out there, the Mexicans. It's one-way traffic. It's Rubio this time, who's roof. Chance to go from the left side. It's this time a change. So Gaxiola served, but he's also dug, and this is an error fest from Mexico, and we don't quite know where this has come from. Not too much heat on that cut shot from Estonia. And sloppy error from Josu Gaxiola. Aces now from Estonia. And all you have to do is really have a look at the Mexicans. It's a long way back from here. Not even looking at the scoreboard, but just the body language of the players. And just like everything, if you don't believe you can do it, you're not going to do it. Is that one back for Estonia? No, even that one's just tagged the sideline. Estonia are looking really strong. Watch out for a little bit of a run for him. Point for Mexico. Well, Nõlvak Nõlvak, Tiisaar had a bittersweet season, having won that gold medal, their first gold medal on the World Tour, but they also took a 25th in the European Championships in Jurmala. Crazy conditions out in Jurmala, very different to what we're seeing here. Yeah, there was some wind, but there's better serving from Mexico. That's what they need if they want to get back into this one. Fire it up from the baseline, fellas, and see what happens after that. Deep breaths for Rubio. Good break. Overhand defense gives a chance for Mexico here, and it's palmed away. Great run, and maybe with this will come some belief as well for the young Mexican pairing, showing a lot of the line before just crafting the ball away on the angle. Good vision. Big jump serves as well, but it's long this time. Well, that last place in the European Championships has certainly spurred this Estonian team on. They said that they learnt good lessons in that competition to take with them on the training court. They also said that first place in the World Tour event felt better than finishing last in the European Championships. How about that one? They've just been in the pool this week with Florian Brie and Marco Klattega. They've been on great form, haven't they? They couldn't play in Doha, the Swiss pairing, due to having to quarantine. Ace from Mexico. When they do get the serves going, they're very effective. That's almost taken the net with it. It's in, but the question from Estonia is, did it hit the aerial on the way through? The answer is no. There's a change of ends here. 8-6 is the score. The other two teams, as mentioned, Brie Klattega from Switzerland in this pool, but also Brouwer Musen. It was actually Switzerland that took the pool. Brouwer Musen had to settle for second. Switzerland have gone through to the second round, and they are currently sitting at 9th place. Also, Hausner and Metrau for the first time are going to get a personal best here. The Swiss program in good hands with Mike Suter and Danny Rodriguez-Wood, who's just joined the coaching team throughout the summer. They're doing good things. Unfortunately, bad news for Heidrich Gerson from Switzerland, as they got knocked out to Jake Gibb and Taylor Crabb after their bronze medal in Doha for the Americans. But tough draw for both teams, having lost their opening game. Errors creeping in now for Estonia. And it's the first time that we've seen them under pressure throughout this contest, isn't it? It's going to be an interesting phase of play to see how they shape up to this challenge that's going to be presented to them. Wide ball. Opens up some angles cross court. And good hands in the block. It's the defender that does the blocking this time. Hello. Kosti Nõlvak. Using every inch of that 6'2" frame to do damage. Float serve, 3-point lead. Pressure hasn't got to them yet. The pressure is back on the Mexicans, passing and setting, and Rubio's just set that ball, and he knows it's not perfect, but he's given up on it before it's even had a chance to be dealt with from an attacking situation. Players have to get themselves up and get in and cover every single time. And that's another sign that maybe they're just giving up the ghost a little bit here in Cancun, and Estonia have maybe had this a little bit easier than they could have had previously. Wide plays once more. The block is breaking, so all of a sudden there's a free net for Estonia. It doesn't matter what they do here, Mexico. Line was the break in the end, falling backwards. Nõlvak does the rest. 5 points the difference here. It looks as if we know who's going to be going through, and it's another monster block. Mark Tiisaar is all over it. Good results today for Sørum there in sitting in a 9th straight into the second round. Semenov Leshukov took second in that pool. Schalk and Brunner beat Allison and Valvaro in Pool B, one for Mexico back. Nikolai Lupo have won the pool against Schalk and Brunner, who did well to defeat Allison and Brunner, sorry. Krasilnikov, Stoyanovsky, well, they're 2-0 after beating Georges and Andre. So the world champions are through, sitting at a 9th. A little bit of scruffy 2-ball play. Using 2 touches. If I'm a spiker feeling uncomfortable, chances are the block and defense are going to feel the same way. Great performance. Metral Hausner, we're going to talk about that again. The young Swiss pairing who have won Pool D this week. Beating Gib Crab yesterday and Mishkiv Liamin today. That's a tough pool as well. Maybe a new team on the horizon in Cancun. Another team are going to break out. Guto, Arthur, Lucena, Dalhausser. Already through as well. So it's going to be an interesting knockout phase. So many great teams in the equation. Ellis Fluggen are playing Cantor Wozniak now to see who takes 3rd place in that pool. That's a good game as well. Ellis Fluggen have been very successful on the World Tour. As of Cantor Wozniak, they've had their fair share of injury struggles, and they also missed the World Championships, which is costly for them when it comes to points. Steep from Tiisaar. Back to the action here. Hard to play defense underneath that one. Parking on the angle. Parking on the approach line of the spiker was all good from Mexico, but then it goes a bit steeper and you have to adapt. Pop-up passes really off the net. The set's really strong, and maybe a bit too honest there from Nõlvak in defense. Parking on the angle all the same. Really early signs that the ball was going to the line, but accurate as you like from the spiker. And Makora and Pristausch from Austria won Pool G. Really good at having come through the qualifier as well. Line ball's really strong from Estonia. Sets right away on the outside arm. Sat exactly where it should be. And then dealt with kindly. Still 4 points the difference. Karambula Rossi took 2nd in that pool. 3rd place is now being contested by the winners in Doha, Perlisic and Schreiner. And Ontriveros and Vergen. How about that? Perisic Schreiner won in Doha and lost their opening game of this tournament to Austria. That's how open it really is. And we have this pool H. Off the net. More joy for Estonia. My word, what a week they're having won the 1-star last year. They're now in a 4-star competition and they are growing point by point. Physical. Good variation of offensive plays. Good technical skills.